Who's ready for the cocktail party? Uncle Lou's ready. Georgia's ready. We'll find out if Florida's ready this weekend. That's definitely the game of the week this weekend in college football in what is otherwise a pretty uneventful weekend, at least when you look at most of the highly ranked teams. We do have Miami and Florida State coming up this weekend. Hey, remember when that game used to matter? Yeah, me too. Barely, though. 4 of the top 5 teams in most of the polls are off this week. The only top 5 team that's playing is Clemson, and they're playing Wofford. So we've seen a lot of upsets over the last few weeks. Not likely to see very many this week. Mostly some boring games. But we do have Georgia versus Florida. And this is sort of an elimination game in a lot of different ways. Loser of this game is most likely out of the East, out of the SEC race, and definitely out of the playoff race. So it's a huge game. See what happens. I'm going to preview that game and a handful of other games coming up this weekend that I think are interesting. I'm going to give you a preview of these games and then a prediction against the spread. Let's go. Good morning, Internet. It's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, and I'm live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching. Man, I sure do appreciate it also. And in addition to that as well, subscribe to this channel if you're not already. I post college football videos almost every single day of the year. And a lot of times, they're even watchable, I promise. Now, this one, I'm not so sure. You'll have to let me know in the comments section down below. As usual, all the numbers I use in today's video, the lines, the odds, the point spreads, the over-unders, totals, money lines, all that kind of stuff is going to come straight from betnow.eu, and they're accurate as of about 9 a.m. this morning. This is the second year in a row I've been lucky enough to work with the good people over at betnow.eu, and they've given me a promo code to let you guys use when you sign up over there. So if you click the link in the description of this video that says join BetNow, it'll take you over there. You can get yourself signed up. They're going to give you a bonus on whatever you deposit. So you put $100 in there, they'll give you $200. You put $200 in there, they give you $400. You guys probably know how that kind of thing works. Anyway, from reading through the comments on this channel over the years, I've come to the conclusion that about 99.9% of the people that watch this channel and comment down below are football geniuses who have never gotten anything wrong. You guys should be taking advantage of that by making yourself some money. Join Bet Now, win yourself some money betting on these games this weekend. All right, here we go. We're going to do chronological order like we always do. Today's Thursday, so we do have some games today. Of course, today's Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. If you've got kids, I hope you guys have a great time with the trick-or-treating tonight. Be careful, be safe, all that kind of thing. Uncle Lou's got a couple of kids too. We'll be going trick-or-treating this evening as well. So with that in mind, there will be no live show tonight. Normally we do a call-in show every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. We won't be doing that tonight. We will have the Friday morning show coming up tomorrow at 8 a.m. so you can check that out, but no live show tonight. Do have a football game though. West Virginia travels. They go on the road to take on Baylor. Baylor, one of the more surprising teams really in college football this season. Not a lot of people thought they would be undefeated this late into the season. Calendar turns in November tomorrow. Can they make it to November undefeated? I think they can. If they had to play at West Virginia, maybe you put them on upset alert, right? A weekday game where a favored team has to travel. You see some weird things happen there. But Baylor's at home. They're an 18.5 point favorite. If you want to keep an eye on this one, it comes on 8 o'clock tonight over on ESPN. I don't think Baylor's going to lose this game. West Virginia, brand new coaching staff, lost a lot of talent off their team last year, and they've been sort of an up and down team this season. They've looked okay at times. They've looked really, really bad at times. They've been very inconsistent. In my mind, it's hard to trust a team like that that's got to travel all this way, especially on a short week for a weekday game. I'm going to take the home team here, Baylor. I think they can win by 3 touchdowns. Give me Baylor, Lady 18.5. All right, on to the Saturday games, and like I mentioned, chronological order. And the first one we're going to get to here right off the top, my Georgia Bulldogs versus the Florida Gators. Top 10 matchup, 3:30 on CBS. Neutral site game played in Jacksonville every year to the cocktail party. Georgia's actually a 6.5 point favorite in this one, and I'm going to be completely honest, I was surprised when this line came out. If you look at Georgia and sort of where they started and where they're at now, they've played really bad the last couple of games. Florida, on the other hand, seems to be a little bit better now, I think, than they were at the beginning of the season. How much of that is due to the change they were forced to make at quarterback with the injury to Felipe Franks? Of course, Kyle Trask been starting for the last 5 or 6 games now, and to me, he does look better than Felipe Franks, which makes you wonder, The hell was Dan Mullen doing? Because Felipe Franks was bad / terrible and very inconsistent. Kyle Trask has come in and he's looked really, really good, and definitely, I think, better than Franks. And even the Florida fans, I think I've heard most of them say the same thing. But Florida seems to be a little bit better than they were last year, particularly on offense, particularly throwing the ball. Now, they've got some issues running the ball. Like they can't do it. That's the issue with Florida. But generally speaking, I think most people think Florida is playing better football right now, which makes it really, really strange that Georgia comes into this game as almost a touchdown favorite. This game has gone from 6.5 to 4.5. I think it got all the way down to 3.5 at one point. This morning, it's back up to 6.5. A lot of times when you see a line that looks totally backwards, and I'll be honest, this one does, it's a trap. I don't know if somebody knows something here and expects Georgia to run away with this game. I don't expect Georgia to run away with this game. If you look at recent history, Georgia has blown Florida out the last 2 years. But again, look at Georgia's last couple of games has been 2 of the worst games they've played in the last 2 or 3 seasons. Of course, catching a loss at home to South Carolina a couple of weeks ago where they, committed 4 turnovers. Hot Rod missed 2 field goals. He hasn't missed any all year. Misses 2 in the South Carolina game. Jake Fromm, no turnovers all year. Has 4 turnovers in the South Carolina game. Bad game all the way around. The defense played well, but the offense was just pitiful. Following week, get Kentucky at home. Beat Kentucky 21-0. But it didn't answer a lot of the questions that people wanted answered about Georgia's offense, which is this really all it is? Which has been, to this point in the season, a very basic, vanilla, let's just call it what it is. It's just looked like a dumbed down offense this season under first-year offensive coordinator James Coley. A little hard to understand what's going on. You got Jake Fromm. He's a veteran QB. This is his 3rd year starting. I know we've got some new wide receivers, but they're talented. We've got wide receivers with a ton of experience in Lawrence Cager, Tyler Simmons, Demetrius Robertson. Some of the other guys are younger and inexperienced, but like I said, a ton of talent. George Pickens, Blaylock, plenty of talent there. DeAndre Swift has been on fire all season long. One of the best running backs in America. That's no surprise to anybody. He's going to have a big game here against Florida, I think, in order for Georgia to come out on top. I'll be honest, I don't trust Georgia to throw the ball that well in this game. I just don't. I've seen nothing from Georgia's offense all year to make me think that some sort of light is going to magically turn on against one of the better defenses that we faced all year in Florida. I think Georgia's best bet to win this game is to hope that the ground game is clicking on all cylinders. Florida's given up about 4 yards per carry on the season. Georgia is getting about 6 yards per carry on the season. I think if Georgia can split that difference and get somewhere around 5 yards per carry, a little over, I like Georgia's chances to win this game. If Florida's able to slow down the run, I like Florida's chances. I don't think it's any surprise what Florida's going to try to do. They're going to crowd the box. They're going to put their DBs on islands with our wide receivers and see what Jake Fromm can do. We'll find out. The other way around, Georgia's defense versus Florida's offense. Great group of wide receivers here for Florida. Kyle Trask has looked good. Their offensive line, not great. Is it as bad as it was earlier in the year? Probably not. I think it has gotten a little bit better. Offensive line, I think, still a weakness for Florida. They can't run the ball. I mentioned that. Georgia, defensively, doesn't let anyone run the ball. I don't think Florida's going to have much success running the ball in this game. I think you're going to see 2 totally different games almost, depending on which team has the ball. I expect Georgia to come out and try to run it. I expect Florida to come out and try to throw it. Who's going to be able to slow the other ones down? Who's going to be able to take the strength away from the other team defensively? I'll be honest, I like Kirby Smart's chances in that as far as the defense goes. I think Kirby Smart and the Georgia defense is going to slow Florida's offense down. Will they shut them down? No. I expect Florida to score some points in this game. Georgia beat Florida last year. Was it 36-17? The year before, we beat them 42-7. I don't think this game will be that way. I think this will be a 1-score game. For betting purposes, I'm going to take Florida into 6.5 if I were to play this game. Now, I don't bet Georgia games, obviously, because I don't have the ability to do it objectively. But I think this will be a 1-score game. I do think Georgia wins somewhere in the neighborhood of 23-20. I don't think either team gets into the 30s here. I think Georgia wins this game somewhere in the neighborhood of 23-20, but give me Florida and the 6.5 points. Miami at Florida State, man, this game used to be one of the biggest games of the year in and year out, every single year in college football, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Both these teams come in this year really struggling. Florida State's second-year coaching staff under Willie Taggart, Miami Hurricanes' first-year coaching staff under Manny Diaz, and both teams have struggled. Miami offensively has been one of the worst teams in America. It's hard to watch Miami offensively at times. Florida State has had some head-scratching losses. There's been second halves of games where they completely didn't show up at all. It's a shame, really. As a college football fan, and that's what I am. Georgia's my favorite team, but I'm a college football fan. I prefer both these teams be good. It seems like something is missing from college football when Miami and Florida State are both as bad as they are this year. I don't know if both these teams can become bowl eligible. That's how bad it's gotten for Miami and Florida State. I do think the winner of this game probably makes it to a bowl. Whoever wins this game is going to be sitting at 5 losses with a few to go. Whoever loses is going to be, 5 wins with a few games to go. Whoever loses is going to be stuck at 4 with a few games to go. And this could be a demoralizing loss for whichever team comes out on the losing end. It could be a situation where you see a team sort of throw in the towel after this game is over. Whoever loses, that type of thing. I hate that this game's coming on at 3:30 because I'm obviously going to be paying most attention to the Georgia-Florida game at 3:30, and there's not a whole lot else on the rest of the day. I wish they could have split this up some kind of way. 3:30 on ABC. Florida State's a 3-point home favorite. I don't like either head coach really here. Miami's got a pretty good defense. Florida State, I don't know what happened to their defense. Florida State's at home. I've seen Florida State look better at various points this season than I've seen Miami look at any point this season. I don't think either one of these teams are great. I won't be shocked no matter which way this game goes. And I think a lot of people feel that way, which is why the line is 3 points. I'm going to take Florida State simply because they're at home here. Give me the Seminoles, lay those 3 points. Utah and Washington. Now, this is a huge game for Utah. They got to go on the road and play Washington. Now, Washington has been disappointing. This is 4 o'clock on Fox. Utah's a 3.5-point road favorite, and they're in the top 10 now. They're 9th. More importantly than that, though, they're sitting on 1 loss. Now, that 1 loss is to Southern Cal, so they need Southern Cal to lose a game, but in terms of Pac-12 losses. But the point is, if Utah or Oregon, either one, have any prayer, hope, or dream of trying to make the college football playoff, they cannot lose another game. They've got to win out. I think Oregon and Utah need each other to win out. I think Oregon and Utah both need to be in that Pac-12 title game with 1 loss. That way, whoever wins, it looks like a really good win, and maybe that team gets into the college football playoff at 12-1 with a Pac-12 title. None of that matters, though, if Utah loses on the road this week at Washington. Washington's been up and down, too. They played Oregon really, really close, lost a tight one, unexplainable loss to Cal earlier in the year. A little bit disappointing overall, I think Washington has been this year. But this is not a give me for Utah on the road here at Washington. Chris Peterson's a hell of a coach. Jacob Eason does have some talent. Washington's got a good defense. I like their running back. A very tricky game here. I'm going to take Utah and lay to 3.5, but this is probably this is the most dangerous game I think any top 10 team is playing outside of playing another top 10 team. Like obviously Georgia versus Florida, they're both top 10 teams. That's a dangerous game for both teams. Any other team in the top 10, though, this is the biggest chance for a loss, I think. Utah at Washington. But I'm going to take Utah to pull out a close one here and win by maybe 6 points. Give me Utah, lay to 3.5. Ole Miss at Auburn, and the only reason I'm even talking about this game today, Auburn's a 19.5-point favorite, 7 o'clock on ESPN. A lot going on at Auburn this week. You saw the video from yesterday, but Joey Gatewood has left the team. He's going to enter the transfer portal. Never really got a shot to play this year, in my opinion. They were shuffling him in and out, the whole QB hokey pokey thing like Georgia was doing with Justin Fields last year. Now, it's one thing if Bo Nix is lighting the world on fire and Joey Gatewood can't get on the field. Bo Nix has been absolutely terrible against every good team Auburn has played. Oregon, Florida, and LSU. Bo Nix has looked absolutely horrible, and Joey Gatewood couldn't get in the game, so I don't blame him for leaving and transferring out. It is a little unusual that he's made that decision in the middle of the season, though. A lot of times, even Justin Fields, who was miserable at Georgia, waited it out, right? Stayed with the team the entire year before announcing at the end of the season that he was going to go ahead and transfer. Joey Gatewood don't want to wait. He's gone now. Is that going to cause any type of distraction in the locker room or anything like that? Maybe. Ole Miss is not a good team, though. I still think Auburn gets this win. But I'm going to take Ole Miss in the 19.5 points. Maybe Ole Miss finds a way to score enough points here to keep this like a 2-touchdown game. Even 17 points, 2 touchdowns and a field goal would still be a winner if you played Ole Miss here. I'm going to take them. Give me Ole Miss on the road and those 19.5 points. How about UAB at Tennessee? Big win last week for Tennessee. No denying that. One of the biggest wins they've had in a couple of years, not just because of who they beat. I mean, they beat South Carolina, but they dominated them. And we just haven't seen Tennessee do that in a long, long time. They're back at home this week hosting a pretty good UAB team. Now, before Tennessee went out and dominated South Carolina, a lot of people were giving UAB a pretty good shot to win this game. Some people are still giving them a shot to win this game, and Tennessee is only a 12-point favorite, 7 o'clock on ESPNU. I don't know which way to go on this game. I definitely think Tennessee is a better team than UAB. Tennessee is not good enough to play at the level. Tennessee has to play its best game in order to do what they did to South Carolina, right? And I just don't think Tennessee is capable of doing that week in and week out. Now, do they need to do that to beat UAB? Do they need to play that good? Probably not. But have they been celebrating like the fans have? I don't know. I'm going to put my trust in the Vols this week, and I'm going to take them in ladies 12 points. But if for some reason this game goes haywire for Tennessee and you find a way to lose, you can fully expect an Uncle Lou video to be coming that was the exact opposite of the Uncle Lou video and the way I talked about Tennessee after last week's game. Give me the Vols, later 12. How about SMU at Memphis? Group of 5 battle here. SMU undefeated at 15. They want to make a New Year's Six Bowl. Memphis already sitting on a loss, but still a pretty good team. And Memphis is actually a 6-point favorite in this game. So they're ranked 24th. SMU's 15th. Memphis is at home, favored by 6, 7:30 on ABC. This is the college game day game this week. So game day will be at Memphis Saturday morning for this matchup here. Does SMU keep it going? Can they stay undefeated, or do they trip up on the road at Memphis? I think they keep it going. I'm not sure what's going on here. Memphis a 6-point favorite. I get it. They're at home. This isn't like they're playing at LSU at night here. They're playing at Memphis. I'm going to go with the Mustangs here. Give me SMU and those 6 points. Vandy at South Carolina. Can South Carolina rebound from that just embarrassing beatdown from Tennessee last week? Vandy's been one of the worst teams, not just in the SEC, but in the entire Power 5 all season long. South Carolina's a 15.5-point home favorite, 7:30 on the SEC network. I think South Carolina rolls in this game. I think South Carolina might win this game by 28 points. Give me the home team, the Gamecocks, later 15.5. All right, we're talking about Utah, right? Must-win game with them already sitting on 1 loss if they want to have any chance at a playoff. Oregon, same boat, on the road this week at Southern Cal. Oregon comes into this game as a 4.5-point favorite and ranked 7th. So Utah and Oregon, both in the top 10. Utah, of course, is in the Pac-12 South. Oregon's in the Pac-12 North. They both need to get to that game with 1 loss, I think. Can Oregon go on the road and win at Southern Cal? Yes, I'm a believer in Oregon. I think they're going to run the table the rest of the way. I feel more confident taking Oregon to win at USC than I do taking Utah to win at Washington, although I do think they will both win. Give me the Ducks, later 4.5. All right, that's it. Like I said, not a whole lot to get excited about on the college football schedule for this coming week. We do have the big Georgia-Florida game, top 10 matchup, and it's going to be a great game. Shout out to all the Florida Gator fans who are here on YouTube. We've had a great run this season here in the comment section and going back and forth on the videos and stuff like that. Somebody's got to win Saturday and somebody's got to lose. And unfortunately for you, I have a feeling my Georgia Bulldogs are going to find a way to pull it out. Tomorrow will be the hype and hate video. If you get mad, if you take it personally, that's a you problem. It says way more about you than it does about me if you get pissed off at tomorrow's video. So just keep that in mind. Unless you're new around here, then you already know what to expect. Okay, this is just how these things go. So the hype and hate video for the Georgia-Florida game will be up tomorrow. And we'll see how the game goes on Saturday. It's going to be a good one. Like I said, I don't expect Georgia to blow Florida out this year. Today's video was more on the serious side. I tried to actually give you my honest thoughts and feelings about the game. That's not what you're going to get tomorrow in the hype and hate video. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget, no live show tonight because it's Halloween. So I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, Friday morning, 8 a.m. for the morning show with Uncle Lou.